Welcome to AlphaCars and Motorcycles. My name is Ian, and today we have this 2018 Audi A3 e-tron in the shop. Work is already underway. We're doing a bunch of exciting things on this one, including rust protection, some detailing, and maybe even a paint correction and ceramic coating in the end. So in this video, we're going to be following this process of really protecting and enhancing this e-tron. These partial electric A3s are very rare in the US. There were not many of them brought over. It was a limited production. And this owner recognizes that, which is why they brought it to AlphaCars. So as we can see, already we've got the wheels removed. And this car actually came from California. It's been in California most of its life. And we can see the front strut here. It's pretty much rust-free. Even look at that nut and bolt there for the knuckle. Usually those threads are all rusty if it's a New England car. And any little bit of orange or corrosion you might see on this car, it's really superficial. So we want to keep it that way, and that's why we're doing the rust preventative treatment. And we're starting with removing all the fender liners so we can get to all this unibody in here and the body plugs as well to get to the enclosed areas. And this is a word of caution on these A3s, even on the Volkswagen sort of Mark 6 and Mark 7 platform. Behind these liners, everything collects back here. Look at all the stuff that fell out. And that's what rots out these fenders. So if you see one of these vehicles and the fender is starting to rot out, it rotted from the inside because of all this stuff sitting in here. So it's a good idea to take these out either way and clear debris out. The rear fender liners hold even more debris. Look at all this. And there's still a bunch caked in here. We haven't even cleaned in here, we can see. So once again, this structure here, which is part of the vehicle unibody, all this stuff just sits in here forever and it rusts its way out. So we can once again just see how clean the car is back here. A little bit of superficial corrosion on the control arm, but they kind of all do that because it's such thin paint there. But we can see the spring and the strut and some of the subframe in there. It all looks really, really good. We also, of course, have the wheels removed so we can do this work, but we're also sending those out to be refinished. So let's take a look at the condition of those. These are some really nice looking 18-inch wheels. They kind of have like this partial machined finish, and they definitely are cosmetically challenged. There's a lot of this clear coat is peeling up. Sorry about the camera there. We can see all this lifting, peeling, clear coat. You know, some of them have some bits of curb rash on them and road rash. And what we're gonna do is take the tires off and then send the wheels out to our local specialist where these things will get looking brand new again in a factory way. And we're also gonna be replacing one of these tires. One of these tires has a bubble in the sidewall. So we informed the customer of that and it all worked out. So at the same time, we're gonna get a new tire to replace the compromised one while we're doing this work. And now back to the A3. So the technician here, he's still pulling the final fender liner here. And we can see on this rear one, look at how much stuff has fallen out. And yeah, now we have access to these body plugs where we can do an enclosed area treatment. And we're still gonna remove this little air dam thing we did on the other side. And we're gonna be doing Waxoyl hard wax on this A3. So we're gonna do the black hard wax on the full underbody and then the clear enclosed area hard wax for the enclosed areas. And now with the Audi up in the air, I just wanna note something about these foam pieces in the front fender wells. So already I kind of pointed out to remove the liners. It's always a good idea to get all the debris that falls out, get that out of there. But a step further, these liners sit way back in here, these foam pieces. You can see they go all the way up. And once they get wet, they kind of just, like look at this. They kind of just hold water for the life of the car. And what ends up happening is this area, you can see how it's full of mud. This rots out. We're super, super happy that this car, look at how clean all the unibody is and where the inside of the fender connects, and especially this lower portion. Like I said, on these vehicles, Mark 6, Mark 7 Volkswagen, this generation of the Audi A3 platform, which is very similar, when you see rust here, that came from the inside, and if you peel all this back, there's probably gonna be no metal left in here. It rots out the fender, it rots out the top of the rocker panel right here. So this is really priceless work being done, cleaning this out, We're gonna put the rust preventative treatment all in there, the Waxoyl, and this car will really be good. It'll be good for the life of the vehicle, the protection. But now just peeking underneath, of course with the Audi, you get the aluminum front subframe. On the Volkswagens, those are steel, so those will rust. But on the A3 here, that's not gonna rust. What still will rust though are these stamped steel control arms. These do have an aluminum knuckle, which is cool, but the rotor backing plates are all still metal, still steel. Of course, this car, it's got all the underbody paneling. Not a lot to rust proof in the center of the car, as it's all just batteries, and then the gas tank is kind of shoved in back here. But we will mask all that off so we can get the steel rear subframe. These control arms, the rear knuckles, which you can see is a little bit of superficial orange starting there. And these rear rotor backing plates, which are still solid. Once again, superficial orange on there. We'll scuff those up, get the Waxoyl on there, and that'll keep that at bay. And get the unibody back here. We can see the unibody back here, even some of it there behind the rear bumper. And of course, springs in and out of the control arms, the sway bar. These sway bar bracket bolts love to rust out on these cars. And we'll be able to get all in there. So right now the technician's gonna go through and give everything a spray and a wipe down, use the compressed air, and get masking. We're gonna mask off all the things we need to protect from the treatment that don't need it, like the plastic components and the wiring and the powertrain. And then we're gonna get spraying and get this rare A3 e-tron protected from the New England rust. Fast forward a few hours on the Audi and the car is all protected. It's all bagged and ready for the Waxoyl hard wax application. And I'm gonna walk you through what we protected and kind of our plan of attack for the application here. So all the wheel wells have been cleaned out. There's still a couple little final areas we are gonna clean, a little bit of leftover dirt here and there, but the amount of dirt and debris was kind of crazy behind these wheel well liners. There's actually a big pile of it right here, along with some old gloves and rags that were disposed of in the process. You could probably fill a small pot with that and grow a plant in there. There's that much dirt that came out of here, and there's actually still a little bit here and there we need to wipe out. But the majority of it is all clean and ready for the application. Of course, we want to apply the product to the clean metal, not the metal that has the dirt on it, because then you're really doing no good by spraying it on dirt. But now you can see all the little corners and areas that had the collected dirt and debris is all clean. And we've got like the exhaust back here masked off, and we're gonna be able to do a nice thorough application on like the trailing arms, control arms, subframe, inside the subframe enclosed areas, as well as inside the unibody enclosed areas. And now moving to the front of the e-tron. All the center portion we don't really have to touch. There's really nothing to protect. It's all a battery. So like I said, the battery is protected by all of these splash shields and such. We will protect this cross member here. So we are gonna mask off that when we spray that. And now in here, these foam pieces are actually, they're like glued at the top. So we are just gonna kind of secure these up when we spray, and we'll get the images and the video of spraying behind them. We can see nice and clean in there. And then when we're done spraying, we're just gonna, put them back where they go, but we certainly don't want to rip these apart. These, while they do collect the moisture and stuff, once this is all protected, it's gonna prevent any of that rust from starting. And these also help, I believe, with some of like the wind noise and the sound deadening in the area. So we, want to make sure they get back where they're supposed to go. And you can see here, even like the tie rod, the boot, some of those items have been masked. And yeah, we're just getting ready to spray. The technician is loading some of our equipment with the product. And here we go, the Waxoyl hard wax application is done. Let's check it out. We've got the car all the way up on the lift, so we'll see the underbody. And what we'll do is after this, we'll lower it down so we can check out the wheel wells thoroughly and show you the enclosed area treatment as well. So first at the front of the car, of course, as we've seen before, the front subframe is aluminum, and then this splash pan is just covering the sophisticated powertrain, so there's really nothing to protect under there. Where you can see the precise application that we did now that all the masking is gone. So we can see these steel support brackets at the back of the subframe. Of course, the stamped steel control arms in the front knuckle, brake rotor backing shield, the axle, where we were even able to kind of dust the treatment on the axle all the way going in there. We'll see more of that when the car is lowered down. Of course, the passenger side axle is the longer one here. But yeah, now you can see the studs for the ball joint there, the ball joint and stud for the tie rod. These tie rods are nice and protected now, which we'll see more of that when the car's lowered down. We've done the full length of the pinch welds here on both sides. And we've pulled some of the body plugs and done the enclosed area treatment in there as well. Checking out this cross brace here. This is all protected as this is traditional steel. And now getting to the back of the car, quite a bit to protect back here. All of these steel components, the subframe, lower control arms, the trailing arms here. These are all steel components. And we can see how awesome everything looks. Springs are protected, including inside the control arms. And yeah, the wheel wells look epic as well, but we'll take a better look when the car's lowered down. Even these enclosed areas in the trail arm mounts here, we're done. You can see that clear product. The vehicle unibody above the rear muffler, and the structure all up in here, including what we can see through the access of the rear bumper, and this crash bar back here is all coated as well. And really anywhere you look on this rear subframe, in and out, it's all coated, it's all protected. Even the sway bar, and you can see the sway bar mounting bolts there. Those are very common to rust and actually break because they get so rusty when you need to service them. And now with the Audi lowered down, let's check out some of the enclosed areas that were done. Like in the enclosed areas of the doors, we can see the product seeping out of the factory drain holes there. So in all the factory access points, like these drain holes, we've inserted the thin, long tool up in there, and it sprays in a 360-degree pattern, and it fogs the product in there. And we can see even this sort of weld-on, you can see the spot welds there in the sheet metal. So this sort of weld-on shock upper mount that is welded onto the vehicle unibody, that is a place where stuff collects in there, and it will rust it out eventually if the rust starts and there's enough salt and debris in there. And check that out, we've got the enclosed area treatment seeping out. That'll seep in there all between the panel seams and adjacent points. And same thing, even look at these little points here, these access points. All these body plugs were pulled, including the one up here, which was cleaned when it was replaced. So now inside this quarter panel and all the panel edges and the seams, it's got that clear wax oil injected in there. Now around this side, same thing here. We can see some of the product there that's been applied. It even went inside the rear subframe here, those enclosed areas. Of course, there was already a good amount of the black hard wax that got in there, but we like to be extra thorough. Once again, we can see the clear wax oil in that cavity, which we inserted the tool as far as it would go, which reaches almost halfway down this rocker. And we fog it, inject it in there as we pull the tool out, and we do that on both sides. Once again, we've got the coverage over here. And now over on the driver's side front, I will peel back this foam here and try to get the light under here to show us a little bit of a challenge. There we go. We can see we did the thorough application all under here. That body plug was pulled so we could get the enclosed area treatment in there, and then we put it back and sprayed over it. And there's a couple areas we will reapply once we set this foam in here because it will kind of rub it away before it's cured. But even this support bracket here, that's all coated with the hard wax, which we previously saw. But from this angle, we can see just how nice everything looks now. The axle, the control arm there, how precise of an application it was. Even the tie rod here, all the way around it. It's got the Waxoyl, so now you don't have to worry about that seizing up and the edge of the sway bar there. Let's move around to kind of where we started. And now at the passenger front, once again, same story over here, but in all these enclosed area, sort of unibody rails, there is the product in there. Same thing, you can see it dripping out of there. And the structure up here. The last things we still have to do are lower the car even more so we can get the hood up and get the trunk open, because we're also going to inject the treatment in those enclosed areas. And let's show behind this foam here. We can actually see the fresher hard wax there that we sprayed over that body plug, but we can see how nice everything is looking here. And the product is even in this sort of seam here. You can see on these fenders how they kind of curve in, and there's this interior seam that will collect a bunch of junk. That's why on these vehicles, same thing as I mentioned with the equivalent sort of Volkswagens. When you see these fenders rotting out and it's bubbling right here, that started from the inside, and you're really too late because it's from the stuff sitting in there and working its way through. And now we've got this product sitting in this clean channel here that we previously had wiped out. Even on this side, you can see this side has the longer axle, and we were able to dust the product in on the whole axle in there. So that'll do a great job keeping it looking good and protected. And same story over here with how really precise and clean of an application it is on the lower control arm, or I guess it's the only control arm on these vehicles, but it is in the lower position. So once we're finished with the rest of the enclosed areas, we're gonna reinstall the fender liners. And lastly, we're still waiting on the wheels to come back from our rim specialist. But once they do, I'll show you those. We'll get them, get tires on them, get them on the car, and it'll be an amazing transformation. And now we move on to the paint correction and ceramic coating portion of this project. Right now, our technician Ryan is buffing out the hood. But first, we got the wheels back from the wheel specialist. Let's go check them out. And here we are. The wheels look literally brand new. If we remember before, they had considerable clear coat failure, a good amount of curb rash and cosmetic damage, even some gouging. And I mean, these things, they literally look brand new, and they were redone in the factory way, so they have the machined sort of face. And if I pick one up here, you can see literally, look at this, the whole wheel is shiny. It's been machined and leveled, the hub surface there. And yeah, I mean, these things look unreal. So we did install 2 new tires at the same time, which was the perfect timing to do all this at once. One of the tires had a bubble in the sidewall and another had uneven edge wear. So at the same time as us removing these tires, sending the wheels out, we were able to put the 2 new tires on for the customer. And there was no additional labor charge or anything since we already had to remove and install tires for the wheel refinishing. So really some considerable savings doing all this at once. But yeah, of course, once these are on the car and they have the center caps in, this car is going to be completely transformed, especially once it is fully paint corrected and ceramic coated. Now let's go check that out. And now back to the paint correction. Ryan here, he's having to do a very deep cut with the rotary because this car had some substantial embedded staining and hard water etching in the clear coat, especially on the hood and the roof. So that's what he's doing right now. Check out this little image or video of how the hood looked before. We can see just heavy staining, a 1-step polish, barely even did anything. And now check out how the surface is looking. And this is only the initial cutting step, so there still might be some marring and some cloudiness, but once you do the final polishing stage, it's really going to be night and day. And now looking down the driver's side of the e-tron here, we were able to correct this portion of the paint with a 1-step polish. Usually it's the top of the vehicle, so the hood, the roof, even the tops of the fenders. Usually it's those areas that get the heavy sort of staining and all the abuse from the sunlight and the water sitting on there, and then getting evaporated by the sun, and then all the contaminants are left over. The sides of the vehicle usually don't get that same sort of abuse, so there's less things to correct. And like I said, we're able to do a one-step on the sides here, and we can see the doors here, really like a mirror. And the ceramic coating that is going to be applied after, it'll lock this condition in, make the car super easy to clean. And there's really like a million benefits to a ceramic coating. But yeah, being easy to clean, protecting the car from the sun's harmful UV rays, it really will preserve your clear coat, prevent the clear coat failure. It'll also boost the gloss and appearance, as it's kind of like a magnifying glass on that clear coat, which is why you need to get it really perfectly corrected before you apply it. And now that all the wheels are on, the lug bolts are torqued, and the center caps and the lug covers are installed, this thing is looking pretty much like a new car now. We're still prepping it for the ceramic coating. The paint correction is pretty much done. The whole car needs to be wiped down now. And there is some interior detailing left to finish, which Ryan is working on there. But in the next section of this video, you're gonna be seeing the ceramic coating application, really locking in this awesome gloss on this A3. Now we're applying the ceramic coating. We can see we've got the special applicator, and a little goes a long way. So pretty much this process is very slow, very tedious. Applying the product on very evenly, and then there'll be around a 30 to 60 second flash time where it'll start to cure and dry, and then what you do is you level it with a rag, with a certain suede rag first, and then a microfiber to follow it up. And what that is doing is leveling the product, like I mentioned, and it really provides the clarity. And as Ryan applies it here, he's going around the car in a methodical fashion. So if you weren't going to level it, if you're just going to allow this to dry, you see the product lines and how thick it is. So every step is very important, and it's actually already been applied on the hood. We can see the hood looks insane, really like a mirror. This product also boosts the gloss, depth, and clarity of the paint. Of course, protects it as well. Now going over it with the suede towel, this is the initial sort of level. And Ryan here, he's not really applying any pressure, just kind of dragging the towel over with its own weight, because of course you don't want to remove too much product. And then now with the microfiber towel, this is where you really refine it down, kind of buff it to a shine, and you can see the difference here. Remember what it looked like before with the thick product? Well, now it's like a mirror. And that's the ceramic coating process. So every inch of the car, whether it be the glass, the headlights, the grille, trims, this is the process. Every inch of the car requires this methodical process, which is why it really takes some time to apply. Now the whole car has been ceramic coated, and it just needs to sit here for 24 hours. This coating, it needs to cure indoors for the 24 hours before it can be exposed to the elements. And yeah, I mean, we can see the whole thing is like a mirror. All the plastic's been coated, all of the glass has been coated. We can see how nice the front grille looks, as a nice deep black there, and the plastic and the chrome looks nice as well. Of course, the headlights have been coated, which will offer an additional level of protection against those having the UV damage, as the headlights like to do now. They like to yellow easily. And yeah, this is really looking like a new car. It's hard to believe it's a 2018. When I'm taking this video right now, this car is around 8 years old, a little over 8 years old. So it really looks like a new car. It's amazing. And welcome to the final segment on the Audi. It's fully ceramic coated. It's been cured. The tires have a little bit of shine on them now. The interior detail has been finished. Check this thing out. Got the Audi logo, projectors on the doors there. And this car looks really as close to new as it's gonna get. really stunning. And this is a very rare and desirable color combo with that sort of coffee interior and then this gray exterior. And yeah, just check this thing out. Let's just admire the shine, the depth, the gloss. Of course, it's protected now for many years to come. And everything is like a mirror. So if you want this level of rejuvenation and restoration and protection on your vehicle, be sure to reach out to us, 978-263-9000. You can inquire on our website, alphacars.com, or shoot us an email, or do all three if you feel so inclined. We have vehicles actually shipped to us from all around the country to use our services because of our thoroughness and attention to detail. This has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough Service Center. If the video was helpful or satisfying to watch, leave a like, and be sure to subscribe for future motoring content.